Good afternoon, everybody. It's Monday, the start of a brand new week, and I'm here with the Sacred Feminine Within. For those who are new to my channel, who watch on playback, my name is Heather. My channel is by Brushbone and Indigo Ash, and every Monday I like to get together with either my fellow reader and uh, and crone queen, Miss Nancy, and sometimes I have special guests joining me as well. And today, sometimes things come together at the last minute, and this was very surprising today. It's been quite the day so far. We have Thankful here early this morning. Hello, Thankful. Thank you for being here. We have Nancy also in chat, and we have Shelby. Hello, Shelby. I hope you're having a good day, my dear. We're having apparently unseasonably warm weather here. We've got 50, mid 50s to almost 60 during the week, even though the mornings start out a little chilly. So I figure I'll just give it here a few minutes while people pop in. So today is Monday, and let's see, I will have my Friday show as usual. And I'll do a pop-up here or there during the week. However, I don't know about Thursday because I have an appointment this Thursday in Medford with WorkSource. I've been assigned to not care coordinator, a career coach who is going to help me see if I can get started on my peer certification here in Oregon. Let's see. Sun just set down an hour ago where I am. Oh my goodness, Shelby. That is kind of in Massachusetts. So oh yeah, it gets dark at 5 o'clock. Yeah. Yes, it does. You're 3 hours ahead. So it's 5 o'clock. So it's still considered that time frame. We have beautiful magical mist this morning, and we have blue skies and mist hanging through the mountains. So yes, stay tuned for this week. That's amazing. I hope. Yeah, me too. We'll see what's what on Thursday. So at least I got the ball rolling. So today, well, I started the morning by pulling. I have a beautiful new planner, small space to write in, so I'm still trying to figure out how I want to proceed the rest of the year. But so far, I have been pulling because this is Year of the Witch, I've been pulling cards from my Season of the Witch tarot. And I put either the top card in, or if I feel drawn to, I'll put the bottom one in. And this morning, I pulled the card, oh my goodness, the Five of Swords, the Five of Winter Swords. And it made me think about some things that have been going on that are recently in my recent, oops, oh my goodness, I'm back. Hold on, y'all. Heather hit, where am I? There we go. I accidentally hit my mouse pad. So this past year and up until recent, the Five of Swords, choosing your battles wisely. Sometimes we believe in something so strongly that we feel we need to have our hearts heard, our souls heard, but then you have to kind of look at, the price one is willing to pay for that. And this was very apropos this morning when I woke up. So Five of Winter Swords. And I've been trying to take maybe like a little passage that I read in the book. And it's basically the picture is of a young maiden left alone standing on a tree stump in the middle of a frozen lake, although the lake is starting to thaw and crack. And she tried convincing and arguing and debating with those friends of hers to stay with her and for them to swim, but they felt that it would be much safer going to shore. And the card shows her being left behind because she really was trying to get them to see it her way. Yeah, I think a lot of us do, hon. And for me, the Five of Winter Swords is also kind of feeling like of betrayal, because even though the card's focused on us either being someone who, don't know how to pick their battles or try to force people to see things our way, it's also acknowledging, that sometimes we're in a place where we hurt and we, want someone so desperately to see where we're coming from that it's not necessarily about being right. It's just about being seen and heard and understood. And one of the things that's really stood out to me was that she was broken, afraid, and mistrusting. So when we have moments like that, we have to discern, what are we truly fighting for? And it's basically choosing your battles wisely, even said in the book. And that kind of really stuck with me. And I wanted to share that because a lot lately it's, I've seen some things that, things in my personal life, and it's like, okay, do I step back and hold space, or do I express myself? And, is it worth that expression? Sometimes, depending on the situations, it is, and there's times when it's not. And so, yeah, it sure does, Nancy. And hi, thankful, thank you. Well, there's a lot of things that have, a lot of us experience, sometimes maybe on a daily basis. Let's see. I can see the Five of Swords with me. Yeah, I mean, it's a time when we really choose, again, how, to pick our battles, or how to choose, our emotions and what is best for us. And I was thinking about, well, that's kind of like a battle, choosing your battles. And so my mind went to, well, maybe talking about battle or war goddesses. I'm working with Namorigna, and, learning about them. And I started looking up, just out of curiosity, other battle goddesses like Athena and Junda, who is Lithuanian, Kali, Anuki, she's African. There was Anat, who is Canaanite, Freya, Oya, and Boudica. There you go. But something else directed me from that. And talk about choosing battles and having to sometimes suffer the consequences. Sometimes there are battles that you have to fight despite the consequences. And I had opened up to my obsidian veil, and I was looking down the list of feminine archetypes and goddesses that Vixen had included. And a name caught sight, and I'm like, who is this? Because I don't think I've pulled her. And after learning about her and seeing the card, I very disappointed in how Vixen chose to portray her, because she's portrayed to look more, like a demon than anything, or emphasizing, because who I want to talk about today was actually burned alive at the stake. But her name is Marguerite Porete. And yeah, in the fires of persecution, I remain steadfast, embodying the strength of my convictions. So I'm going to read what he wrote in a bit. But there's a link also in the description of a quick little documentary I caught just a few minutes of that explains her. So I have a picture here. There's a couple pictures that they provide. I didn't get to in time to be able to include it on the thumbnail, but these are just a couple of image reproductions of Marguerite Porete. And very interesting. I learned some new things today. So we'll get to what happened to her in a moment. But she was a Benguin or a Benguin. And a Benguin women sought to fill a spiritual void. Well, first of all, the Benguin was a religious lay order founded in the Netherlands in the 13th century, where women lived in communities without formal vows. So it's here begging women to fill a spiritual void without putting their lives entirely under the control of a religious order. These women who were a part of the movement were prime targets of the church's interrogation, for they were seen as outside the church's control. These women, along with Marguerite, were sometimes seen as taking their spirituality outside the clerical world and its Latin language, and therefore beyond the power of the ecclesiastical authorities. And she actually wrote a book that got into quite a bit of trouble. And one of her quotes is, "I in no way fear to gain the height," which is interesting. And she was actually burned alive in the year 1310. Shortly after her widely read book was likewise burnt by the Inquisition. She was an accused heretic, and so was her book. And she refused to talk to anybody. She would not talk to the interrogators or anything, and she would not recant. So she was not bound by vows, but dedicated her life to charity and paid the price with her own life. So the battle was basically brought to her, and she was not going to step down. So the book is called, again, The Mirror of Simple Souls. You can still order it. It's available. Right here, they're listing Barnes & Noble, but I'm sure you can be found on other websites like Amazon or Thrift Books. So Marguerite felt so strongly about what she believed in, she wanted to share it all with others. And also a quick note here, another thing that was offensive to the church was that the book was written in French. And up to that time, everything had to be Latin because Latin was, of course, the church's established language or written language. Hey, Beth, what's going on, my dear? Good to see you. So she wanted to share it with others. So Porete was the author of a work of mystical literature called The Mirror of the Simple Souls. In her writings, she states that when in the state of contemplative love of God, the soul has no need of masses or prayers or of anything else. Rather, like other mystics, she claims an immediate relationship with God, which gives her authority. The title of Porete's book refers to the simple soul, which is united with God and has no will other than God's own. The book discusses when a soul is first birthed from God. The souls resonate more easily to God's love than others. Marguerite discusses annihilation, referring to the death of the soul's own willing, own having, and own knowing to be replaced by God's willing, God's having, and God's knowing. A noble soul sees this death and resurrection as her natural place in God. So her book can be looked at as a kind of handbook for people seeking God. Marguerite wrote her book in vernacular French rather than in, Latin. So I'm going to take a sip here. Let's see, Irene. I suck with names. Sometimes I still get confused by names too. I do. So making sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see. So just sharing a little bit. Yeah, it would be nice if they would be following it, Irene. So I'll take this little break, take a sip. Hmm. Well, the coffee's still lukewarm at least. And let's see, especially with everything going on deep down, I hope this is just a phase right now. A dark night of the soul, and everything will pass. Things do pass. And again, remember, there's no shame in seeking help too for those moments, for people to help you through that. It's also part of growing up, how we learn and problem solve in a way. Yep. And there you go. Eureka. Oh, the ultimate. The one thing, though, Irene, that I did learn about Boudica that kind of broke my heart was that, well, during the wars, her enemy's horses would be basically, she would have her soldiers um, basically impale. I won't go into detail. Their enemies' horses and stuff, and that broke my heart because these are innocent animals, and knowing that people do that to animals to win a war, you know, broke my heart. But yeah, that was something else. War and battle, especially in those days, was anything but pretty. Um, so just Beth, there she is. Hello, hello, my dear. I should say, what's up, woman? Woman. Let's see. So hey there, can't stay. Oh, can't stay. Okay, my dear. Um, but we're learning about, or she wanted me to learn. She wanted me. I was drawn to her. I think by her today. It's just the synchronicity, and so I'll continue. But oh, Bodie. Oh, yes. How is your sweet baby? I hope it's doing better. So moving on. And because the church was not happy with her book, so she disobeyed an order to withdraw her book. She was imprisoned for approximately a year and a half. During this year of, during her year and a half, okay, so the full year and a half, she was silent and answered to no one. Marguerite was brought forward to face interrogation and trial. But what upset the church more than the content of Marguerite's book was her assumption of an independent, public, and active image. She refused to acknowledge the church's authority over her spiritual path. Marguerite was deemed, of course, a heretic by that point, and burned at the stake in Paris on June 1st, 1310. So she's including a couple. So where I'm reading from too, if anyone's interested, it's an interesting website I hadn't come across. It's called A Medieval Woman's Companion, European Women's Lives in the Middle Ages. And the article was written by student Elizabeth Cobb, or Cobb, depending. And so yeah, there's some more extensive information, but yeah, she refused. And there was somebody else that was with her, that was her defender, that stood with her until they realized what was going to come up, and basically, withdrew, and to avoid, being burned at the stake. I'm looking to see if there's anything else here. If you're here, dogs howling, it's the transients dogs across in the park. So let's see. So she was actually born 1258. So I'm not good with math, so I can't really figure out numbers right now. But she was considered a Christian mystic. So this book is also seen as a primary text regarding the medieval Brethren of the Free Spirit. So that's something to I would recommend looking into a little more insight. So now, according to Wikipedia, they said some of her information is maybe uncertain, but they believe that she was a woman from an upper class, or her higher level of education means that she likely had upper class origins. She was associated with the decline movement, and therefore could travel freely. And that was something too that, and at one point, they ended up disbanding because of the Inquisition and because the church and the popes and the bishops forcing, what happened with Porete, excuse me, Marguerite. A lot of them ended up just disbanding. But then when it was becoming more accessible again, by then there wasn't enough. They had been absorbed into the other, into a actual monastery, or into a convent. But yeah, she's very, very interesting. I am going to read more on her. Says here, during her imprisonment and trial, Porete refused to speak to any inquisitor. A commission of 21 theologians investigated a series of 15 propositions drawn from the book, only 3 of which are securely identified today. So we're not sure what the other ones are. And of course, judged them to be heretical. Among those who condemned the book was the ecclesiastical textual scholar Nicholas of Lyra. So, but yeah. All righty. I'm going to go to, here, let me move this here. Oop. Noisy. So I do like what he wrote in here, Vixen, about her. And so let's see, we already know that part. Okay, her use of fire as a metaphor to describe union with God would go to foreshadow her death. So at some point, I'm going to see if my public library has this book. Despite resistance, she remained steadfast in her beliefs and refused to recant her writings. So for her, this was a battle that she was not going to walk away from. This was a 5 of Swords moment where there was no room to debate. She was going to hold her ground for something that she truly believed in and deeply believed in. So again, mentioning that she was burned at the stake, but legend has it she remained completely still, not a sound, glaring her oppressors in the whites of their eyes. I don't know how someone can stand still and not scream when they're being burned alive, but Marguerite Porete's story serves as a symbol of courage and defiance in the face of religious oppression. She represents the pursuit of spiritual freedom, even in the face of opposition and persecution. It calls forth the courageous energy to explore beyond the confines of traditional dogma and doctrine. Ooh, oh, those kind of, well, I'll have the plain brownies. If you're making them, I'll take a plain one. And was it good tea? I've always liked my English breakfast or my Irish breakfast tea. So it says here, only you have the power to challenge outdated or oppressive beliefs and to explore alternative paths that align with your inner knowing and authentic self. Transcend the boundaries of the known and venture into the realm of spiritual liberation. So I had an idea. I will open up. Oh, I forgot to put my own banner up. My goodness, this is who we're talking about. No, let's see right here. Show. There we go. That's what was supposed to be up as I was talking about her. What I thought about doing before opening up the floor to readings is I like to see what she would have to say. When I was sitting here getting ready, I was just kind of feeling already drawn to being drawn to her. It felt like she wanted to get a message, like, helping me feel and understand something that I got in a card this morning. Hey, boo, what's up, sassy? And kind of help me feel through it. And so that inspired me for today. Yes, it did. Oh, milk. You can't go wrong. Donuts, brownies, yum, yum. Or a nice cup of coffee with milk or a nice creamer. So I thought I would ask her, what messages does she have for us? And if everyone would like, I can open up questions after I'm done. If anybody would like a divine feminine message from Miss Marguerite Porete, I'm seeing a head in my mind. I'm seeing a head shake, like yes. So let's just see what her message is, her general message to all of us. Interesting. Wow. Okay, I do have my Invoke Oracle, so let's add okay, so sacred space, love it. So we're going to start off with goosebumps. So her message is sacred space. Mundane to eyes not of my own, these sacred responsibilities are mine to embrace. So the beautiful message is making sure that we take time to create our sacred space for us, for ourselves, for no matter what spirit, whatever your connection to God is, whether male, feminine, or other. What's most important is to have a clear, cleansed, and sacred space for your connection with your higher power. There's nothing more beautiful, respectful, and authentic about creating sacred space for when you want to communicate with the divine, or even to live in the space of the divine or your spirituality. So I think that's a beautiful message from Marguerite from that deck. And here, very, very interesting message for us. The Eight of Swords. Hi, Hannah. Guten Abend. So, Eight of Swords. She says we have to take off the blinders. We have to, only we can take off our blinders. Us only can remove ourselves easily from our binds and be able to walk through those swords, the swords of whatever, false truths or our thoughts that hold us back, our thoughts that hold us back. We have the power. And it's almost kind of scary because of the way she's standing here is like how you would be attached to basically, a stake. You would be tied by a rope or whatever means that they did back then. And so, it's time for us to move out of that mental state of victimhood and to move through those fears and to be able to live our authentic life, live our authentic spirituality, our connection to spirit. The underlying energy message, I got Eight of Pentacles. And to connect and be close to God, goddess, or spirit, is to focus our time, to hone our skills, being able to learn how to take time out to be still away from Of course, the social media, um, people's gossip, people's behaviors, again, like the Five of Swords, things that make us, feel like we are being betrayed. Um, yeah, being betrayed or hurt, maybe unintentionally, and being able to redirect that focus into our sacred space, being able to step out from that. And because when we stay focused and we hone our ability to meditate, be in touch with our emotions, that focus helps us stay in a good spot. It makes us secure, stable, like the Pentacles. It also helps us, with our health. Again, entertainment purposes only, but really makes us focus on our relationship with our higher power and within ourselves. And the middle card, another one, Page of Swords. So somebody who is she says to keep being curious, learn about, like today for me, being curious. I learned about the Green people. I never knew about them. I didn't know about her. So taking time and being curious, looking outside of our, looking outside of our own space, our own place, and being open to learning new things, new ways of communication with spirit, with our higher selves, um, and having that open mind, having that youthful, free. I mean, the book mentioned, spiritual freedom, freedom of spirit, and a Page of Swords. They're the free spirits. They're youthful. They feel youthful. They want to explore. They want to find new ways of using ideas and thoughts and communication. So, hello, Selena, mwah, my dear. Um, so yeah, I love that. It's like holding and learning about your sword of truth. And again, her message to us, we need to get ourselves out of our victimhood mentality. Um, and when we do, and we stay focused on developing and crafting our power, our connection to spirit, um, to the earth, to things that are important to us in our lives, that opens that energy up for more exploration, curiosity, growing, developing. So, Marguerite, thank you for such a beautiful message. We appreciate your message. So, hello, Selena. I came across a woman named Marguerite Porete. She was a Christian mystic burned at the stake for her book, The Mirror of Simple Souls and Her Beliefs. Very, very interesting woman. I highly recommend. And next time I go to the library, I have to see if they have that book. Let's see. This matches perfectly because we are in a time of rest and rejuvenate. Cleanse your space, take care of your health, rest, rest, rest. And again, picking our battles wisely, choosing our battles wisely. That was, she was betrayed, that Five of Swords can very well be a betrayal as well, just like, for me, like the sevens are. But that five is that sense of, yeah. And, someone who tried standing with her, he had to turn his back on her, but yet she didn't waver. She still felt that she was, they wanted to debate this. They wanted her to denounce what she believed in and what she felt, and she was not going to be silenced. So again, that Five of Swords, either way, we have to make sure, what is this battle that we want to fight, and is it worth possibly casualties? So I was betrayed in a past life. Yeah, I think a lot of us have been. Yeah. Oh, Scotland. So that must have been a very powerful um, experience when you went back there the year before last. Because I keep thinking we're in last year, but no, we're in the new year. So what I want to do um, is open up the floor, and I want you know Marguerite to be able to read, share her messages for us. If I can just find what happened to my scroll. There we go. So, if you would like a sacred feminine reading from Marguerite, and yeah, because one of the passages I read did mention that she did not feel, or it was understood that she did not feel that what was being taught and what was being dogma or enforced was not a true Christian path. And so we can see oh, wonderful. Oh, Marguerite, you have lots of people who want to. Ooh, and I'm getting goosey bumps. Goosey bumps. These kind of goosey bumps are good. Okay. So for today, of course, I'm using the, it's not medieval art, but it is an art history based deck. So I do have my Baroque tarot with me and the Seasons of the Witch. She approves. So, and I had to make sure because of being Christian, mystic on the earth plane, but I kind of see it all. It goes, it's all the same, kind of like so. Okay, alrighty. So I need a pen. I went out and there we go. I got a pencil. At least I have a pencil. So let me back up. Oh, so good. I've missed seeing you, Hannah. I love, love, love that you are here. And I think I might start doing that for Mondays. So, alrighty. Good evening, everyone. Saying hello, making sure I'm not missing anybody. And thank you, Jax, for putting everybody's links in the chat. Okay. After that past life, I knew I needed root trauma. Yeah, Selena, yes, and Selena too. I gotta tell you something. I saw an owl today, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh, I hope Selena pops in the chat." But I'll talk to you later. I mean, it was very, very quick. So Shelby and Selena. Beth. Thanks, Jax. And Jax. Okay. Ready, so great. It's interesting. I'm seeing something with pieces of like there's cards like little, and I see her. I don't know if this is. I guess I'm saying I don't know if this is just my imagination, but I kind of see like when that one picture with a slight smile going like this, and I can see like little white pieces of paper, which maybe means cards, on a table, so that maybe by at that point there was things starting to move around Europe already, and from the Middle East of the cards, the tarot cards in their earliest forms. So she may have even, yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so Shelby. Marguerite, what message would you like to give Shelby? Okay, let me see. I have new comments. Let's see. Okay, and then there's Irene. I think I did, which is very unusual. I've been twitching. I hate when that happens. So sharing stories. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Let me see something with this here. I don't use. Okay, kind of goes with the theme for today. And I'm glad I opened the book because there's that comment and message right there. Okay, so kind of going in with, I think, this Five of Swords energy that I kind of brought into today. I think this is all very synchronistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with your oracle card first, though, from my beautiful Seasons of the Witch in bulk oracle that I was gifted from Miss Selena. Hello, Sandy. How are you, sir? So you got blackberries. Okay. And it says here, there is no weaving with existence. There is no weaving with existence when you ignore the presence of spirit within self. So we're talking, this is her jam. And I said jam and this blackberry, ha ha ha. She had a wicked sense of humor, let me tell you. So there is no weaving with existence when you ignore the presence of spirit within yourself. So you cannot weave and manifest in existence without being in touch with your spirit, without your true self. You can't ignore spirit. Spirit is everywhere. I hope you guys will hear the dogs barking outside. So, again, how we can't really create anything in our life. Yes, our personal power is important, but without our connection to spirit and acknowledging that spirit within ourselves, that's as above, so below, connected, there is no true way we can weave and create and manifest the life, our life here on this planet. Our connection to some sort of spiritual guidance or spirit is a must in however form you see it, or whatever form that you take, or you believe in it and how you see it. So Shelby, Knight of Swords, there we go. And what caught my attention in the book was here arguing. But also, acting before speaking. Again, this very much relates to that Five of Swords. I think it's amazing, but the sadness I was feeling this morning, especially being reflected in that Five of Swords and having to sit with that. This is where we have those moments where, Shelby, where we feel that, and it's like we have to learn to take a breath, because if we're not careful, we rush in and we become a part of that unhealthy balance, or the shadow side of of that Five of Swords, where we push our thoughts, we push our words, and sometimes we cut without maybe meaning to. And then there are times that we do. Again, we have to learn how to balance that. Um, it's interesting how he words this. They solve problems with their tongue. So again, our tongue weaving, there's no weaving existence. And so watching again, this is all about how we use words, how we how we need to connect and get grounded to our soul self instead of just mind. Again, that balance of emotion so that we don't automatically leap out and say things that will intentionally hurt again or unintentionally hurt others. So this is just something being mindful. The card also mentions that you love to share your truth, which is wonderful, but also making sure that when we share our truth, that we are open to allow other people to share their truth like she wasn't allowed to. There was to her, she's very swords. She's saying she understood, she had clarity, and she could see through what was being done by the church, and she wanted to spread her truth so that other people could experience their own truth. So it's that, again, standing on that battlefield, having to be very wise in knowing what it is that you are fighting for. And again, being able to make sure that when we express our thoughts and what we want to say and share and do, that we allow for open communication and new ideas. So right now, this is like in the moment, sword of truth, breaking through the crown chakra, having that sense of clarity, messages of clarity coming through from yourself, your higher power, and your higher self, and being able to break through that crown chakra. And again, too, our sovereignty, finding that balance, but being very open. So there's this energy coming into you of new ideas, clarity, thoughts that you want to charge forward with, but having to be mindful of when is the right time to say what needs to be said or you want to share, because you can kind of see the variables in a certain situations, the energy, the variables, the people are in place. Okay, now I'm seeing chess pieces. So being able to maneuver and position yourself, where it becomes clear when you can take that step forward, where you can be able to safely share when it's meant to, when it's divinely meant to. Okay, so your underlying card is Seven of Pentacles. So she's saying, be patient with yourself, be patient with what you are growing. She says you are growing, and this is a beautiful message for all of us. We are a harvest. Every year we plant new seeds, we harvest, and we wait for them to grow. And sometimes it takes a little longer, but just keep being dedicated and taking care of ourselves, our harvest, finding the patience to allow things to grow to fruition in time. Just like the energy is, and the energy is, yeah, the energy and the time is right for those ideas and things that you want to communicate, can be brought through, but having to learn how to be able to recognize when to hold them and when to fold them, when to walk away and when to run. So it's really just learning how to get more grounded, be patient again with yourself, take good care of your spiritual health, your physical health, making sure you continue to water your garden, to keep watering those dreams and thoughts that you have, and you will know when it's right to be able to share them. All righty. Thank you, Marguerite. Thank you. So, raspberry jam. Let's see. Let me just back up. Okay. Everyone's saying hello. Yes, blessings. Blackberry. That sounds good. Can't hear the dog good. There we go. Ooh, German raspberry jam. Ooh, I bet that tastes divine. Me? Argue? Never. It just seems very apropos how this was all divinely. And I probably should have a read with me and her afterwards to help me through that that card I pulled today. Ace of Swords is your angel card, so then pay attention to your angels, my dear. If you feel that's where they come through. Okay. See, she says, thank you, Marguerite. She goes, there I go. All righty, so Selena. My owl queen. All right. What message do you have for Selena? Is that the message? Okay. Well, I guess there's two of those. Because I don't want to ignore. Oh, how interesting. You, Selena, out of the in bulk, you have two cards, and both of them have swans on them. I know they're not your traditional owl, but they both have swans on them. Swans for transformation. Oh my God. Beautiful. Okay. So let me set those aside. Okay. Marguerite, messages for Selena. Thank you. Whoa. Okay. That was too many, but that stood right out. Okay. My goodness. Well, this is Selena that we're talking about with all the cards. Me. Okay. All righty. So that'll be that. Okay. So, Selena, your oracle cards, Snowflakes and Swan. That sounds like a beautiful poem ready to happen. So, snowflakes, we all love our snowflakes. And there they are. There's the swans up in the sky. And on this card, it says, every moment is a sacred gift, a blessing you shouldn't take for granted. Okay. And swans for Bridget. Okay. We are coming up on in bulk, so yes. And for Swan, the cards are number 40 and 41. They follow each other. Ooh. You might want to write those numbers down. That's interesting. And it says here on Swan, I am everything I seek, the one I am meant to trust above all else, to create one of the strongest loves within my lifetime. And what is one of your strongest loves? So these are like personal messages for ourselves. So yes, we know we have our personal loves as our Darla, our husband, David, and those in the community. but what is your soul? What is one of your strongest loves? Wrap your arms around that, hold that in your hand, and allow that to transform. And the beautiful, snowflakes. Every moment is a sacred gift. These are beautiful. See, she was listening, talking about your past lives. Okay. And the deer is also in there leading the way. Selena. Oh, poor baby. Oh, much love to my Darla. So I'm getting, I don't know if it's through her, but I feel like this is a family member reminding you, drawing you along, pulling you along. Or it could be allowing who you are now to still, I'm feeling something with you, inner child, and ancestor. I am the one you are meant to trust above all else. Take her with you everywhere you go. Never leave her behind. She's always a part of you. There's something with your inner child that from the get-go knew about the magic, that knew about the wonder and the power that you have within yourself and with nature, and that recognized it. Snowflakes are also extremely, they're unique. There is not one that is like another. They are beautiful crystalline structures, and they are all unique, and they are pure. Yeah, is what you've been doing. Okay. So your other message is from Marguerite. This is the card that the lovers, choices in your life that you need to make, choices in regards to, of course, your personal life, with your relationships with others. But right now there is this need for coming together, making choices that will bring the two halves together as a whole. I think still in connecting with that Five of Swords and, choosing battles wisely. It's one of those where you have to choose. It's the card of choice, decisions, choosing between what, is important. What do we need to have this healthy debate about? What do we really need to nail out compared to as to, okay, what's something that we can walk away? So looking at, again, what is worth a fight over, what choice, and being aware of those choices and bringing down that divine energy to help to heal those relationships and those choices that are being made. This is an interesting card. I'm looking at your other ones here. You got the Four of Pentacles in the middle, which is kind of like, this is what's center stage. And I know the Pentacles is supposed to be hoarding, selfishness, but perhaps right now, at this time, that is what needs to be. But from the balance with the lovers and the choices, that will help you be able to decide what it is that you hold on to tightly to yourself, for yourself, that's needed, and to know what is you can feel safe in sharing with others and being able to let go of. Um, it also feels very shield like, shielding oneself. And sometimes we do need to be that selfish to be able to protect our health, to protect our stability, our home, our fear, our sense of safety. Um, and again, those choices, um, calling in the divine, calling in, being in that sacred moment, creating, like it keeps going back to that, creating that space, that spiritual space, that spiritual pure space, um, like a blank page. She says before she goes writing, there's all that potential. There's the light right there, and to be able to invoke through our sacred space, our sacred energy, and understanding the choices and relation, and allowing that to flow onto the page. Your underlying energy, my dear, is the magician. So you have the power to manifest what it is that you need. You have all the tools. This is something you already know. But this is in the underlying, kind of below the surface. I don't know if there's still a sense of fear of your power, or of things that you're not going to be able to manifest, but being in the dark, I'm trying to see what she showed me. Being in the dark can be holy, especially when we light our candle, but we need to make sure that we have that balance. Um, it's interesting. The first card, what's on top, is bright light, angel light coming down, and then your underlying is a darker, somber. Um, so finding that balance, the choices that we make, even our choices, spiritual choices that we make, spiritual paths that we take, whether through our spell work, our words, showing what we are writing down, what we are conjuring, what are we invoking. No, she likes the word conjuring. What we are invoking, what we are transcending. But yeah, that's what I have for you, my dear. Oh no. Did she get into? Oh no, you said you need some chocolate. The backs of these cards make me think of chocolate, gold foil wrapped chocolates. Thank you, Marguerite. Thank you, thank you. Oh, I hope Darla's feeling better. Bye, Nancy. Maybe next Monday. Have a good show with Scott. Mwah. Chocolate, yes, please. She's napping now. Aww. Puppy naps and puppy hugs. Whew. Heather needs a sip, even though it's cold coffee. That's okay. So up next is Beth. Okay. Yo, yo. Oh. Okay, Beth. I'm trying to explain how I'm seeing this in my head. When I closed my eyes, I said Beth. She went kind of like Beth, and she went. And so this is for me, for you. Up straight. No, what the, I don't mean necessarily the slouching because it's not good for us physically, but it feels like posture up, head up high, pull that energy through. There's nothing to be ashamed of. You hold your head up, not in ego, but hold your head up and not in ego, but in God or goddess in spirit. Shows there's no, not to let that keep pulling you down. Sit straight, be sovereign. Know your connection to your divinity and not let that be used against you. Okay. I hope that resonates. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Beth, because I need to know if I'm connecting properly. This is very new territory to me to be. Thank you. Okay, so. Ooh, tingles. Okay, so Beth. You and I slouch too much. This isn't the best of chairs anymore, though. Oh, okay. Does she have brown hair and eyes? I keep thinking I have to pull up my head for real. Pulling up your head, but holding it up where, yes, it's physically good. That we stay aligned as much as possible. And she understands age, but I think this is in ways of not bowing or bending over because of any sort of guilt or shame. It's to say, no, you are in your power, you hold yourself up, and you're connected. It's just, again, it's not like ego based. It's like any of those things that have regret or shame or things you start maybe not noticing, but we start like, oh, especially going into a room or talking to people, assuming that position. She's like, I'm good. I'm connected to source. I'm good with my God. I'm good with my spirit. I'm good with my choices. And she goes, mistakes, that's all a part of life. I do want to ask her a question, though, if she'll allow me at the end of the show. Right here for Beth. Exactly, Jax. Interesting. Okay, we're going to start with your oracle card, Beth. And you got Angelica. And that's the name of my next door neighbor, Angelica. So look at that beautiful angel up in the sky carrying the light. And she's carrying the same light that you're carrying. And that little fox is right there saying, be clever. See how clever that is, that you are being clever. You're seeing, you're connecting, you're understanding. So Angelica here says, the bells have run, chiming far and near. Underneath feathered wings, my dear, You have nothing to fear. Under feathered wings, you have nothing to fear. Lighten that load. Feel the wings. Stretch those wings. Pull yourself up, my dear. You have nothing to fear. Okay. So, goodness gracious. So your top card is Two of Pentacles. And so, I'm sorry. Every time I see this, and I mean, it looks like he's got a freaking something on his head. I was just like, boy, he really emphasized that hat, didn't he? To me, it's very humorous, but again, it could be very jester, balancing, seeing the gestures having to juggle, seeing the gestures having to balance everything. So this is a card about balance. And what's interesting is that I thought he might have one foot in the water while one foot on the ground, but he's got them both on his feet. But this is, right now she's acknowledging the balance, the balancing act right now, juggling things, trying to juggle financial. I'm saying this is acknowledgement of financial coin, as she says, coin, resources. She acknowledges you don't try to live beyond your means. That's something that she's proud of with people who don't over consume just to have something to consume. To you, it's nice to have things, nice to be comfortable. But yes, there's a bit of a balancing, juggling act with that. However, the good news is, she says, to have patience. And I know none of us have patience. And I know that's really hard. Ask Axl Rode, or ask his girlfriend. He kept asking her to have patience. And she's going, my reference, Marguerite, I digress. But again, while juggling the Two of Pentacles, finances, this angel is not juggling, but she, in a way, pouring back and forth from her cup, making sure that it's that acknowledgement of trying to find that balance, pouring one cup into the other. The elixir, everybody. And she's like, oh, the rage back then, the elixir, mixing, having everlasting life, many things, she said, were underground. And one of the things is that, while it may not have been permitted, by the commoner, the commonwealth, the common people, secretly she understood that a lot of the things that they were accused of, the heresy, was all being done behind closed doors, in all forms of government, science, everything. So, but here is that beautiful angel again, two angels, my dear, being able to let those wings lift you up, continue pouring it's like in the Hermetic, it's the art card where it's alchemy, blending, and you're finding different ways of blending, your intuition, your emotions, your creativity, and whilst trying to stay grounded. So it's that process of moderation, taking time, but this beautiful balance of the creative, the intuitive, while being secure and stable, just like here. So while this is the top part, the tangible part, you're balancing a lot of the physical. Here, a lot of it is the intuitive, the emotional, And right smack in the middle, Beth, you have the Magician too. So this is you in the middle processing. Maybe so with this card here, the Magician, a lot of times we are afraid of our own personal power, or we may not even think we have that much, or very little, or you have no idea how to tap into it. And here it says, remember again, under feathered wings, you have nothing to fear. So I think this could very well be her acknowledging not to have fear in your own magic, um, in your skills. No fear of, not having a connection to the earthly plane or the spiritual, but you have all the tools within. And maybe with this deck here too, this might be acknowledging maybe some shadow work that needs to be done. None. Okay. But you can always count on the heavenly beings as well, the angels, the angelic realms, and however you see them. You have the tools necessary. And right now, it can be hard acknowledging that when you feel like you're doing a balancing act on a daily basis while trying to find ways of balancing the emotions, the abilities, and the creativity, the things that you want to do. Trying to empty from one cup into another, trying to keep them both, basically filled. So yeah, that's what I have for you, Beth. Well, that's what Marguerite has for you, Beth. We have for you. So thank you. Temperance sells the alchemical card. Yeah. Making things happen. I just had a song in my head. She's going, alrighty. So up next is Jax. Jax in the box. Nah. Smashy. Sassy Boo. Maybe if I say boo loud enough, maybe Mozzie will come in here. I told Hannah, I told him, the love of your life was in chat yesterday, and you did not come and see her. You're welcome. So Jax. Okay, so she just sat back and went like this. With you, Jax. With a little, I mean, I don't know what the expressions were back in the 13th century. Here, kitty. Yeah. Mozzie. We'll see if he comes. So Jack's message for Marguerite. I just love these decks. The Seasons of the Witch decks. Okay. Jax. Great. He's probably sleeping on the couch, Selena. Now that we have a decent couch, as long as his belly's full. And lately he's become a daddy's boy, so interesting. We got another same card come out again. So Jax. I like that the cards are improving, Jax. I know the stress may not be any less, but I do like this breath of fresh air. So your Imbolc card is candle dressing. And candle dressing is when you do candle magic, where you get the candle and you put your intention in it. and then you dress it with oils, herbs. This is something that's right up Selena's alley right here. So it's connecting with spirit through the candle, through the flame. That was something that was very, that's how one of the things, how they were able to see back in the day. The candles were very important. It lit their way. It lighted their temples, their sacred spaces. To them, it reflected the spirit of God, the Holy Spirit. And so you got candle dressing, and it says here, sharp as nails, engraving my will, intention spoken, declare what will be. So this is like another magician card. This is about engraving to the candle, sharp as nails. You're putting your will, you're putting your intention, spoken, declare what will be. So you have this recommending, candle magic, connecting with the flame, connecting with spirit. Holy Spirit is represented by flame, tons of flame. So this is something how she resonates and understands with candles. And in these days, dressing the candles, saying the prayers, saying the blessings over them. Because back in the day, they did the same thing too. But it was okay because it was the church doing. But anything else, it was heresy. Yeah, the hypocrisy. She's going, oh. So candle dressing, my dear. And look how you got that little black birdie on your shoulder. That's sweet. And blackbirds are, again, also associated with the Namarigna or the Morgan. I've also heard of her referred to as, or them as Namarigna. So I just love how that rolls off. So that's what you do have the different moon phases here. You do have the skull, so it's about rebirthing. And that blackbird is that messenger. And oh, look at, she even has, looks kind of like horns, but she's got the crescent holding up her hair too. So maybe around the next crescent moon. So we're coming up next Sunday. This coming Sunday is going to be the new moon. And then after that, we're going to start seeing crescents. And so perhaps this is going to be a time maybe to do some candle dressing at that particular moon phase. Is there anything else? My will. Again, so when it comes to battles being fought, that winning at all costs, that walking away, that Five of Swords, making sure when you set these intentions and you pray into these candles or a candle, that we make sure that we are invoking the highest spirit of God or spirituality. She goes, God, because she's not used to God, in her time, but she understands this now. Maybe she goes, oh, don't think I know more than understood. You need a mother God, just like you need a father God. So again, lighting that candle, making sure that your intentions are for the highest good of all in all areas. Even if you have to set them for helping with who and with that situation, so that everybody can recognize the spark or the light of God that's within all of us, that spirit is all in us, and that we can maybe appease to that spirit, that spark somewhere within them, to be able to do the right thing when necessary. And with that skull, the new moon going into the, to the waxing, about the rebirth, the end of one way, and bringing in the light with the other, with that sun. So that's what I have there. I don't want to be right, or do I want to be happy? I shall choose wisely. Oh, my talking bird, the cat for cutie. Oh, really? Well, there you go. Gotta, yes, gotta get my water out. I love the, I love their song Equinox that they use for Twilight. That's an amazing song. The lyrics. Okay. Um. So your top card is the Four of Wands, my dear. So she's acknowledging that you are, first of all, she's acknowledging how strong you are. She goes like this, referring to past, and we know what that means, nods, and going like this, and now here that you have been walking your God path. You recognized it in the past, and as you continue to walk it, you're finding your path. And even though it's difficult right now, it's led you here, it's led you home. So there is a celebrating, not just for the physical family household that you're creating for you, your kids, your husband, the fur babies, but it's also a sense of homecoming for yourself. To me, too, this is that beautiful acknowledgement, celebration of your loved ones on the other side. Um, Also acknowledging that they are with you through all of this and that you are creating the foundations and that okay. And then that, so which goes to this card, you got the Fool. So the Fool is so that when it's time for you to start taking that leap of faith in yourself forward, because the Fool is all about that potential, that raw potential. I mean, he's got, to me, in that sack there's all the elements, the swords, the cups, all of that. And when you get to the Magician, everything's all laid out. So that when the time is right, the foundations are built, you're going to be able to take a step off that ledge, not be afraid, and you're going to have faith in yourself. It's already there, and they're celebrating that also with you. And at the same time, this underlying energy, because you are doing the work. You also got the Temperance card in the underlying energy. So whether you feel this or not, you probably do. But again, pouring from cup to cup, finding that balance, settling into that moderation, knowing what's got to be done, you're already developing that. And then there's going to be something that's going to push you, and not in a bad way, off the ledge. Something's going to be like, as the celebration continues and you're finding that balance and you're getting your grounding and you're connecting with your intuition, your cards, your guides, there's going to be that push off, that, okay, now's my time to take that leap of faith. She says there is a purpose. How some people say we all have a purpose, and then some people say, well, are we supposed to have a purpose? We're just here. But no, she says there is a purpose. You see it, really? You see it in when you light a candle. When you light a candle and the room illuminates, when you turn on a light and the room illuminates, when you feel like you are home, you illuminate. Those are clues and things of feeling of something that you want to do. I'm seeing books. I'm seeing this, writing. I'm thinking something with career. books, schooling. I think everything that you have been through is giving you all of the skills, the lived experience to be able to open the door for you where it's like, I found home. Like there's going to be an epiphany. I know this isn't the judgment card, but again, it's that spiritual card. I'm gonna look at the bottom of the deck. Wouldn't that have been something else? No. What's the next card? Wheel of Fortune? No. But yeah, right now you're just keeping one foot in the water and one foot on the ground, staying emotionally balanced, trying to keep yourself emotionally balanced, but you're still that mixing back and forth, girl. Listen to your guides, listen to your spirit, listen to your I just say spirit, God, because it's a different time. But yeah. I have a weird toolbox, girl. That toolbox gives you. We'll talk. We'll talk. But I think kind of sort of know what I mean. You have the tools now to be able, but we'll talk later. Anything else? She's like, okay. So that toolbox, girl, I'm just going to come out and say it. That toolbox of yours, I feel like when things get stable, I think you're already feeling something besides the pain and the healing. You know what I mean? I had to throw that little joke because the way we joke. But I feel like you are going to find a way of utilizing all those tools to be able to help others. I see you being an amazing either caseworker, social worker, some sort of life coach, possibly some sort of art therapy, peer support, something where you're going to be like, I keep saying this, Rosie going, let's do it, and yeah, I need a sip of my cold coffee. Irene. Come on, Irene. Do. I'm a sink or swim kind of gal. If I'm doing something, I'm diving in. Like I said, girl, with all those tools in your tool belt. Irene, I thought I got this card for you the other day. Girl came up again. She got this card the other day. She's going, I'm like, okay. Okay, so what card message can I read? Yep, waiting is the hardest part. It's a catchy tune. I know it's Eileen, but God, next time I go to have brownies, Jax, all I'm going to hear now is Tom Petty. Waiting is the hardest. Waiting is the hardest part. Okay, I'm sorry, focus. That's Marguerite. y'all saw me shuffling that. Are you? Oh, what's the bottom card? Okay. So a lot of similar messages. And again, with coming back and Jax too, there is still this theme of making the choice, choosing our battles wisely. And Jax really quick battle mage. Some people were using that a lot earlier in the tarot community. A couple people had battle mage, or something mage. But yeah, battle maiden or something like that. But girl, battle mage. So yeah, you know how to, which one's to fight. You know when to walk away. Ride like the wind to be free again. I was getting that Christopher Cross song. You know. So, Irene, I think you had this a couple days ago, girl. Dark days of winter, excuse me. And this is, I must seek to befriend the hidden parts of self, the darkness that embraces the whole of who I am. She emphatically, pointed on this card. Okay, yes, I did. Okay, I thought so. You have to do the work. And she's going like this. You have to do the work. So, setting that card aside, again, it's all about embracing who you are and that darkness. And really, too, when it comes to the Five of Swords, for us, with what you're going through, with family, the battles that need to be, what's to be fought and what's to walk away from. And that fox says you're clever. You know that you know what needs to be befriended. You know what needs to be worked on. You need to do the work. Now, the other cards, I got the Four of Wands. Winter isn't coming. I'm having a hard time. Oh, wait a minute. Winter isn't coming. It's here. We got to rise next. Gather your strength first, though. Yeah. So, this Four of Wands. I know it's about foundation, celebration with friends and family. I know that's what's on your mind. And I know you also have loved ones on the other side. I know that focus and that desire is there, but she just keeps pointing to that dark days of winter. Now, your middle card is right now, you're just balancing, you're moderating. You're not, again, the temperance card you know what? Let's take a look because this one comes up a lot. And sometimes people have different interpretations. I'm just going to. And she says, okay. All righty. Priorities. Boom. Priorities. You have to be the priority. If justice represents laws of the universe and Hierophant the laws within yourself, the temperance represents balance between the two. See, now this is interesting. We pull and Jax, you just said, we gotta rise, gather your strengths. You mentioned something with the pool earlier. We pool our energy into the many vessels of life. often leaving our own chalices empty. Guidance says now is the time in your life to reevaluate where true priorities lay. Revisit the levers with your energies of giving and receiving and refill your energies every now and then. Alrighty. Okay. Wow. Isn't that a beautiful card though? Some of the artwork I've gotten like, but that one is beautiful. I love that. Priorities. It says, of course, also balance and patience and moderation, but priorities and purpose. Like she was saying, we all have a purpose. And that's what, to be fair, I was thinking purpose when Jax had that card. So again, when a lot of us get the same cards, it's very much a collective. Dad is coming to 124. I got the 4 of Wands lately too. Okay, so this is really establishing a foundation. And those two could be your cheering team, on the other side. But this dark days of winter, I must seek. Hold on a second. Book. Okay. Nope, that's the wrong book. That's number 17. Okay, being friends with demons. And we know not to get it. Okay. So, Imbolc is the midway point between Yule, the beginning of winter, and Ostara, the beginning of spring, a time of year that heralds some of the darkest storms and nights. This card suggests you are experiencing a similar situation in your life, that fears and traumas are coming to your emotional surface. Know that they aren't here to scare you, and that just as rain nourishes the earth, your shadow also holds the key to bigger growth when you enter your spring season. The earth cannot avoid winter, and neither can you avoid your darker side for long. Receiving this card is confirmation that now is the time to face your demons, if only to realize they are actually trying to help. In greeting your demons as friends, you may find that they can teach you how to be sharper, wiser, more experienced, self aware, and even sexier or more alluring. But I'm just going to throw that out there and leave that to you on that one. I'm like, I did not see those two words coming. But it's okay for us to feel that way. We can at any age. It's understandable to want to avoid reliving any pain associated with unpleasant experiences. However, ignoring them will not erase them from your life story. Why not use them to your advantage and gain as much as you can from what they have to offer? Well, I gotta start reading these books more often too. So yeah. And your underlying card is the Empress. Yes, you are the mama. But this is also the embracing the Empress, embracing your, again, like they're saying, maybe your sensuality, embracing who you are, embracing, is the same as embracing our shadows, our demons, things that we don't want to see. But with her, using her creativity, her connection to earth, she's sovereign over her own body, her thoughts, her life. And I think that's a beautiful underlying energy or card to get to this reading. And to also reach out to the mother God, the mother aspect, the earth. And I'm just going to leave that at that, Irene. It is. Embrace that female power, that mother intuition, that creativity, that fertility of ideas. Alrighty, that was my last reading. And before I want to ask Marguerite a question. Let's see, I have 9 people watching. If any, haha, that's priceless. Okay. Hey, any age. Yeah. I keep thinking of that Empress and Irene, you can't, you are a part of the earth. You are a part of the Empress. You are Gaia. You are, Gaia, you are Empress in all facets. You're connected to the earth, to Mother Earth, to her animals. You actually birthed human children. You are a fur mom. You had all those creative jobs that you've, shared with us in the past. You are a voluptuous empress. Your life, your experiences. A lot of you out there that have had the children have gone through the experiences. To me, that's a voluptuous life that is. I know Marguerite didn't have that life with the children, but yet to her, the people that her books would go out to, she saw would be like children. Her messages came from spirit, from her understanding of her connection to God. And that everyone was children. They all could have a beautiful relationship with. So very interesting. Oh my goodness. You are seriously earthing. One time we went to the beach, I had to use the bathroom. Oh my God. Yeah. So Irene was the last reading. So if anybody doesn't want any, if there isn't anyone else who would like a reading. Oh, Irene, I didn't see that. Joanna died 2 years ago this week. I find myself just super angry. Well, hon, it was not your fault. I'm trying to remember. You said it was an embolism, right? I don't think none of you could see that coming. And it could very well have been her one of the ones waving through the light, homecoming. Just saying, keep working on yourself, keep building that structure, that foundation. And your mom. So that very well on In Bulk, February 1st. So Irene, those 2 people then in that picture, in that card. Johanna and Mama. Encouraging you on. My goodness. So there's a question I did want to ask Marguerite. And what I would like to ask, I don't know if this was standing up for that book and to the church worth the price you had to pay? taking that stand and dying the way you did. Was it worth the price? Do you regret the decision that you made? Wow. So asking her that question, I got 2 9s, which is very interesting. I got the Hermit. And the Hermits are about introspection, going within, being on the journey. I think so. Because so I got the Hermit, which for her was her self-reflections, the introspection, the meditating, the praying that she did, the writing that she did. She felt like it was a light. It gave her life. It gave her a sense of peace. And she wanted that light to continue. She did not want that light diminished. She wanted her book and her message to be the light for a lot of people spiritually. And the Nine of Pentacles is, for me, saying no. She rejoices in her garden. She rejoices and has earned, not in an egotistical way, but the garden. She was very proud of being independent, choosing to live the life how she saw fit, not being dictated, and she was not going to be bullied. Like in that Five of Swords, that was a point where she was not going to be bullied. She was going to stand up and fight for what she believed in. That was a battle that she chose. And it gave her a sense of accomplishment, of joy, of happiness, because she was connecting to her God in the way that brought her joy. And it's interesting that in the book it said that she was using fire as a metaphor. And I got the Knight of Wands, and the wands are about fire. And the Knight of Wands are, the youthful rushing in, full of passion, holding the torch, wanting to inspire, wanting to ignite, wanting to, lack for a better term, burn shit down, rebuild. Reunite that spark of inspiration, that spark of spirit. It was her form of creativity. But this was her passion. So no, I don't see any. I'm sure the being burned at the stake had to have been. I can't even imagine. But no regrets. That's what I'm assuming from my seeing the cards. No regrets. Yeah, look at that horse. Amazing. Usually they're the hot-headed one. Knights of Wands, they can be very hot-headed, very passionate about, having to. And she was youthful, if I remember correctly. Like I said, I couldn't do the math, but yeah, she felt armored and protected by God no matter what. And by denying what she wrote and what she felt and what she knew, that would be a sin of itself. So, yeah. I highly recommend learning about her. I'm going to learn about her more. I'm interested again if our library has that book. You can still it's in print. So, alrighty, everybody. Thank you for being here. At one point, I had like 10 or 12 people, so that was nice. I like her too. We need that more and more each and every day. So Shelby says, thank you, Marguerite, for never stopping and being you and loving what you did. Yep, she was fire, all right. So, I'll do a pop-up sometime. You know me. I like doing my little pop-ups. And I will see everybody on the next show or in a chat. Have a great rest of your night and evening. And I will see you next time. And thank you again, Marguerite Porete, for joining us and sharing your wisdom and insight and beautiful messages with us. So, alrighty, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.